Linear functions. Working with linear functions. When all the points on the graph of a function lie on a straight line, the function is a linear function. A linear function can be written as an equation in the form y equals mx plus b. M represents the slope of the line, which is the steepness of the line, and b represents the y-intercept, the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. The slope of a line is the ratio between its rise, the change in the y values along the y-axis going up, and its run, the change in the x values along the x-axis going across. The formula that we will use is the slope equals the rise over the run, which is the change in y divided by the change in x, which can be found by calculating the second y value minus the first y value divided by the second x value divided by the x first value of the two ordered pairs on the equation line. The x-intercept is the value of the y-coordinate at the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. The y-intercept has a coordinate value of 0 and the y value from the equation line crossing the y-axis. The value of x at the y-intercept then is 0. Finding the slope of a line. If you are given 2 points on a Cartesian plane, you can find the slope or the steepness of the line. Here is an example. Finding the slope of a line. Example number 1. Find the slope of the line given in this illustration or graphic. Your first step is to find the coordinates of the 2 points. Point 1 will have the coordinate 4, 5, which is the top point, and point 2 will have the coordinates 2, -5, which is the bottom point. Now, the next step is labeling the first point x1, y1 and labeling the second point x2, y2. This will help us keep straight what the values are when we use the formula. Substitute these given values into the formula for calculating slope. Slope equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, which will equal -5 subtract 5 divided by 2 subtract 4, which would give us -10 over -2. From there, we want to simplify by writing in lowest terms. We know that 2 negatives will be positive, and we know that 2 is a common factor for 10 and 2, so we can simplify this down to 5 over 1. This will then give us a slope of y equals 5 over 1. Now, how do we verify that this? Now, the slope of 5 over 1 means that to find another point on the line, if you were to pick a point on the graph, from that point you would count up 5 squares and over 1 square. You would arrive at a second point on the graph. To verify this, pick a point 3, 0. From this point, count up 5 units, count over 1 unit, and you are now at the point 4, 5. So you've gone from one point on the line up to another point on the line. So we know we are correct. Finding the slope of a line. So for your solution, as always, we need to state the conclusion. The slope of the line passing through points P1 at 4, 5 and P2 at 2, negative 5 is 5 over 1. Or we could just write 5. Time for some practice.